Right there, that whole reality.
I found out how he kept the teas because he did all these teas 3 times a day. I found out how he kept them going because they didn't have refrigerators back there, and there's no way you're going to make a tea 3 times a day that way because it's not a 30-minute cooker. It's not just a 5-minute cooker. He used pure silver. He had 3 silver pots.
Oh, sure.
And silver, anything in silver will never go back.
That's right.
And it's not lead, it's not tin, it's not aluminum, it's not other crap. So
Stone Age technology again. Every time when you look at it, Stone Age technology makes you younger, you feel better, it's natural, it feels good using it. Just taking a stone grinder and crushing shaga to a powder, just having shaga as a powder right there from your own local forest behind your house. And you can use that, you can mix it with chocolate, you can blend it into anything, you can just eat it straight, you can add it to coffee, you can do anything you want with that. It's an instant superfood powder from the forest, requires no preparation at all, unless you want to crush it, and then you just crush it straight, nothing else needs to be done, on stone, and you have the best thing ever. And 6 months on shaga remakes your immune system. When it comes to immune system, we know that the Ormus elements have certain attraction to certain areas in our body. Our joints, for sure. The levity, right? That's the joints. It has an attraction towards the nervous system, an attraction towards the immune system, skin, hair, and nails.
So where do you get this shaga tea?
From him.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to get it yourself for free. I always have it with me. I have just chunks of shaga, and what you do is you basically just take a chunk off and you throw it into a tea. That's all you need to do, and you will keep making tea out of that. It's not like where you make a tea once. You can make 20 teas out of one chunk of shaga that big, 20 teas. So what I end up doing is I always use it as the background. Reishi and shaga as the background, and then I'll put horsetail, hemp leaf, hemp root, nettles, boom, in the front end, and goji berry to take all the edges off.
You grow all this, or do you buy some of it?
I grow almost all of it. But every time you buy goji berries, guess what you get? A bag full of viable seeds. Every bag of goji berries. Can you grow goji berry here? Yes, you can. Absolutely. The one key about goji berry, well-drained soil. That's what goji berry needs, well-drained soil. Once it gets going and it's established, it's indestructible. There's nothing you can do to kill it. There's nothing anybody can do to kill it. Goji berries, once they get to a certain age, like 3 years old, they're indestructible in any ecosystem. I've been growing them in central Ontario, Canada. They survive the winter there easily. No problem. Minus 40, no problem.
Does shaga grow all over the U.S.?
Shaga, this is like the southern reach of it has to have cold. Shaga likes cold, so the colder that it is, the more you will find it. It's traditional in the Siberian system of shamanism, right? Shaga's king, Amanita muscaria is the jester. Wild lettuces, that's like the pawns. You know, these are like the power plants in the ecosystem. Reishi, its energy is like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You remember the woman in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? That's the energy of Reishi. It's female, but it's completely mystical and totally elusive. And that's exactly how Reishi grows.
It may be that the goji berries will grow anywhere, or it may be that the goji berries will grow if you have plenty of Ormus in the soil. Because the alchemists used to say that if you put the alchemical materials in with your plants won't freeze, they won't.
They'll live through it all.
They'll live through everything.
Wow.
Goji berry, the polysaccharide fraction of the goji berry sugars is around 36% of the total sugars in a goji berry in like a standard goji berry that you buy. Wild goji berries, it's about 50% of the sugars.
Wow.
Now, we know that that's the part that's got the action, right? The Chinese have known that for 1,000 years. They've known that it's actually the bitter sugars in the goji berry that has something going on. So they have extracted just the bitter sugars out of goji berries for at least 1,000 years, but probably for thousands of years, and used that, interestingly enough, as an additive to herbal formulas since the beginning of time. Just the goji berry polysaccharide. Now that's a trip. Because they knew that there's something, the polysaccharide, something about that. If you start studying the medicinal mushrooms, reishi, shaga, all those, what is it that's active in those? It's the polysaccharide. So what do we know about polysaccharides?
That's
ambrotose. It's the Ormus carrying fraction of the plant. Now, so everything that Manatech is doing, for example, and I'll show you tomorrow too. Everything that the mushroom growers are doing, like right now, I'm in a conversation with Paul Stamets.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because Paul Stamets has done an amazing thing. What he's done for mushrooms And what we're doing is we're saying, here, Paul, check this out. Here's how you fold it over tenfold what you're producing right now by using ocean water extracts and Ormus extracts as a spray in the environment where you're growing those mushrooms, which I have done. And what it does, it brings the mushroom to genetic perfection. You will not see I'll show you. And you will not see a blemish, a spot. Everything looks totally magical and enchanted. And another thing about the mushroom world and about the Ormus world, because in the biosphere in this part of the world, right here in Oda, Georgia, or you go up Appalachia or anywhere where there's still forests, where the mana is concentrating, where the Ormus is concentrating in the biosphere is in the mushrooms. Now, what do we know about mushrooms mythologically? They're associated with fairies, elves, magic, enchantment, castles, princesses, all that stuff. In general, our world is a disenchanted world. In general. People don't like their job, they don't like what they're doing, they're not having fun, it's just a whole... I don't know how they live that way, it's crazy to me, but people exist in that, whatever that is. When you start taking in these substances, what happens is, what you invite in is more enchantment, more magic, more princess energy, fairy tales, the whole thing. What enlightens our inspirational sense, right? Because that's a huge piece of this whole Ormus puzzle as well. We know about the psychic nature of it, we know about the metaphysical nature of it, we know about the physical nature of it. The inspirational elements that are going on here are also very powerful. Imagine if you have been going downhill for 10 years, and really for him, in his case, with his feet, it had been 20 years. Or imagine it's 25 years. I could have given up. I could have said, forget it. Let's go to dentists. They know what they're doing. At any time, I could have collapsed and done that. But no. Just no. There's going to be a way. There's going to be a better way. And imagine what it does to you when you have a chronic problem like that guy's feet, and the whole thing is completely over with and reversed. All the suffering, all the whole idea of like it's hopeless. Imagine that just gone. You see where that leads? And what it leads to is HOPE. We start saying, there's hope for the world. We can make it out of here. We can do this. And that's where the spaceship comes in. All right, any other questions about this?
Is the spaceship the Merkaba, or is the spaceship a technological thing?
It's a technological thing.
Huh.
I have something in my genes about, it's in my genetics, about building structures like machines out of gold and silver. It's in my genes. We don't even question it, but every car, every machine made by this civilization is made with junk metal. It's junk. It's garbage. We don't even think about that. But this group, I think you will think about that.
Well, you know the space, our Saturn rocket that went to the moon, we took out tons of gold from Fort Knox to do the heat shield.
If you believe we went to the moon, which I don't. And if you want me to get in on that one, we can get in that all night long.
But I have another thing I want to run by you. This is really weird. Go back to when you were talking about that glass shattering.
Yeah.
Okay, with the Ormus?
Yeah.
Michael and I had been gone almost 9 months from our Michigan home. And when we left it downstairs at the sink and everything, he had some Ormus left over in some jars and things over there. And on a metal shelf by the sink, he had all his Ormus making equipment and then some of this Ormus sitting there. On the bottom shelf, I had plastic bottles, the kind you buy in a store that have water in it. I had just bought them for emergency to have on hand. When I came back after 8 to 9 months, almost all those bottles were empty except for some of them. And when I picked the bottles up, water was shooting out all over. And the first thing that intuitively came to me was, okay, this is sitting on a metal shelf. We're dealing with this conduct nature here going on, and that maybe something had happened. Have you ever heard of anything? What do you think about
What
this?
you want to do is you want to store them in a magnetically shielded container. That helps a lot.
Like old paint cans or new paint cans you get from like Home Depot or something that have never been used. They're empty. So you put your Ormus in there, seal that, and then put that in another one like a Russian doll. Is that what
They
you're
have
talking
those
about, Barry?
big popcorn tins that you can get at Christmas time.
But this wasn't Ormus water. This was just regular water, but it was on a metal shelf that had all this other Ormus stuff. And what I'm saying is, I think there was
Ormus
an electrical charge.
will get into it.
It'll
Ormus
escape.
will get into it from elsewhere.
It tunnels.
Yeah,